to live to be an old man. I guess I better live as long as I can. I don't feel so old when I'm seeing you, but my years are going from many to few. So I guess I'll live as long as I can, and maybe someday I'll be an old man. Every day I still eat 3 square, but I must admit to losing some hair. And some of my friends have got up and gone. Some days I am left here all alone. So I guess I'll live as long as I can, and maybe someday I'll be an old man.
Sax, your aunt is very close to being with Jesus.
You mean she's going to die?
Well, we believe that her soul is going to heaven, that she'll be with her dear husband Rich and your grandparents. We hope someday the whole flock is back together in heaven.
I wanted to give you Uncle Rich's sketchbook. You remind me of him. You're both doodlers and daydreamers. I think you'll find you can still get to know him better this way.
Thank you, Auntie. I love you so much. I can't wait to see you again someday.
That sounds wonderful, Socks. I can't wait either.
Uncle Rich!
Hey, kiddo. What a cool room. Looks like your aunt gave you my notebook. I think it's very sweet that you're reading what I think about.
Uncle, I have some bad news, or maybe good news. I'm not sure yet. Auntie is very sick and going to die. I'm still working on what that means. And also, you're a ghost.
You're working on what that means. Oh my God. I am a ghost. How about that? Unfortunately, and not very reassuring to you, I've never been the kind of guy who would lie to you. I think that is bad news. There are so many things I miss about living. It's so nice you've woken me up so I can say goodbye one more time.
Hello, goodbye. When you say goodbye, I say hello, hello, hello.
Once I was very sure I was going to heaven when I died. I don't want you to misunderstand, and that there were so many wonderful benefits in my life to being in the flock. But I think you feel the same way I do, that I still had some questions. It's very hard to convince a stubborn old man. And you know, I'm still not sure. I was maybe nowhere or asleep. Now I'm here, and I don't know when I will be gone again. Maybe when your aunt dies, I will go. Who's to say?
Uncle, I've been thinking. I don't think everyone else thinks the same thing about what happens after you die. You seem to me like the only person in our whole family who even wondered if they were 100% sure they were going to heaven.
You're right. Not so long ago, in a time before lamb socks, there were no computers, and when that changed, I thought, well, my brain might work on power outside of my body. We could be electric sheep.
Now that's a cool trick.
I thought in my lifetime I could be a part of the first test animals to be saved somewhere out in a computer when it was time for me to die. Kind of like right now. I can't really eat, and I don't think anyone can see except you. But I certainly do feel like I am being. Don't you think, Socks?
Seems pretty real to me.
Perhaps it is like Descartes said, I think, therefore I am.
You silly goat.
Well, that's a certainty. Unfortunately, I think Urain and I just missed our chance to be technological marvels in the 2020s. But humans are talented, but you or your kiddos won't be. Watch this.
Hello, Socks. I'm the Blue Fairy. I'm a scientist, but most people can't tell the difference between what I do and magic, so they call me Fairy. These people are also generally taller than me. Let me tell you some things about life, death, the soul, and what we do and don't know about them. Even your dear Aunt Dolly was cloned from an identical sheep, but we don't know that the soul of the previous sheep transferred to her. None of the humans can tell the difference. To those on the outside, it's like she never left.
That's right.
And also, you should absolutely not bring that up to anyone at the funeral. Identical twins don't seem to always have the same soul, but some claim to be able to feel when the other's in danger or hurt. It's possible cloning creates a duplicate or a linked soul like that. Some humans are convinced that the soul exists in the brain, that the series of electrical impulses which constitute thought while alive somehow also contain the code which is their soul. Famously, ostensibly, Walt Disney had himself cryogenically frozen so that his soul could be transferred to a new vessel. Once we figure out how to do that, of course. Whatever the case is, though, we aren't sure. We're on the cutting edge of discovery, and every day we get closer to unraveling the secrets of existence. You could be the one to make that next big discovery and outwit death. Someone's gotta be the first anyways, why not you?
I think you would make a great Star Talk. Come out of my screen, silly goat. I need non-cyber emotional support. You know, when I think about Auntie's funeral, I don't think it's going to be as fun as it might have been for another culture.
Now there's a very big thought for a very small lamb. I know a lot of fun things about Egypt. I find when you have big questions, sometimes it's useful to compare and contrast. We can always ask the narrator.
There were many Egyptian burial rituals that had to do with the earthly body. This is a heart scarab. This special carved beetle was buried with the body to help silence the heart in the afterlife, when the gods went to look at the good and bad things you'd accomplished in your life. These powerful amulets were engraved on the bottom with hieroglyphics that were often a scripture from the Book of the Dead, in which...
Oh, this is a long explanation. I'm getting pretty sleepy.
When a person is living, they have a vital force called the ka. After death, this double spirit is separated from the body and needs a place to go. The heart would travel with the ba, the mobile spirit, which was their personality, often depicted as a bird, to the Hall of Truth, where it would be judged by Osiris in the heart-weighing ceremony. This is why tombs were so important. The ka needed a likeness of the person to live in, and could use the food and gifts the family left for the deceased. The heart would be weighed by Anubis against a feather of Mot, the symbol of truth and justice, and Thoth would judge the results. Those who were found unworthy would be eaten and annihilated by crocodile-headed Ammit. But if it was found to be lighter, the soul could continue on into the afterlife.
And they said things would be very much like how they were. I wish it would be like this. Though the Bible describes wonderful things in heaven, if you ask me, I can hardly imagine anything more wonderful than this life here on earth, with all our needs met.
The physical body was preserved through a process called mummification. Organs they believed would be vital in the afterlife were stored in canopic jars like these. Each of the jars featured one of the 4 sons of Horus to protect it. The baboon happy protects the lungs. The jackal-head Duamatef shielded the stomach. and Quebusenuef the falcon watched over the intestines. Finally, the human head of Imseti would defend the liver. The heart was the most important piece to have with you in the afterlife. Some accounts say it was returned to the body. In others, it is replaced by a heart amulet and is accompanied by our friend the scarab. The last step was to wrap the body in layers of linen and resin with their special amulets, and to place the body in a decorated casket that illustrated the person's life. Their sarcophagus will be their final resting place.
They threw away the brain. Some people wonder if that's where we live. Back then in ancient Egypt, there were no questions that the brain was not the important part.
All that's meat inside me? Does it just become things?
Well, there are different beliefs about whether the body needs to be preserved. I know you learned in Sunday school that in heaven you will get a new body better than this one, even. But the Egyptians preserved the earthly bodies as well and put them in beautiful coffins to honor their dead and house them in special tombs with many of the things they would have loved or needed in life. So they could be used in the afterlife as well. Now, you may decide that mummification or burial in a shiny, pristine coffin is the best thing to do with your body when you die. Maybe you could live forever through nature by always becoming the energy for something else.
What do you mean?
I mean, you're a lamb chop. This is the circle of life for many bodies. Thinking outside of where our soul goes, I always like the idea that the flesh I work so hard on might get something else live and be real tasty.
I want to wake up!
I'm sorry, kid. I don't mean to scare you. I'm an old guy who's had some deep, spooky old man thoughts. You're just starting to figure this stuff out. You don't have time to be comforted by being someone else's dinner.
I accept your apology and have no idea what you mean, and never hope to. About being eaten, anyway.
Aren't you going to the museum today?
Sure am.
I'm sure there'll be lots of fun and funky dead things there. Your parents will struggle to explain.
These are so beautiful. They are just like in my dreams. Is this what I look like? They look just like Uncle Rich. I hope there is as much dignity at Auntie's funeral as there is in the paleontology section. The hospital called my mom today and said that Auntie's body actually passed away, though we haven't been able to speak to her for a little while. Everyone is going to see her at church this weekend. I think it's kind of confusing, the way everyone is describing what is happening to me. It seems like this should be a good thing. Could you go with me?
I don't know if I can. But here's an idea. Take my book. I'll take any chance I can get to see my Dolly again.
Well, kid, your aunt's in heaven now. She'll be baking her famous burnt blackberry pie for Uncle Rich and Jesus, too. It'll be okay.
I hope so. Well, you're still here, and I'm still here.
I hope I'm not overstaying my welcome.
No way. I'm so sorry for your loss, and I'll be happy to hang out and hear your 1001 tales or whatever else you want to do for all the time we have together.
You're one smart kid. I suppose there's something besides your aunt dying, something I've got to finish, but I want to think about anything collected today. Let me show you something I really like. Tonight, I promise I'll take it easy on the dreams. Hey kid, are you asleep?
What do you mean? Can you not tell?
What's this?
It's a whole lot of comfortable nothing. It's way bigger than me, or you, or anyone can even think about. Maybe instead of heaven or anyone's obligations, there's a big, comfortable nothing. And knowing we did our best, and nothing in religions that aren't Christianity, this is called nirvana or moksha. Martin Heidegger described a wholeness which only can be found in death. Who knows? Now, I don't know this, and I'm still here right now. I'm also not telling you there isn't something after you really die. I spent my whole life serving the Lord the best way I knew how, and it made your Annie extremely happy, and we lived as good and honest as we could. The point I'm trying to make is there are so many ways to think, and the choice is your socks. The questions seems very important, but it might be nice to consider we are also very small. I hope you and your aunt and me, when I go back to whatever I was before I became happily haunting you, will be comfortable.
Good night, Uncle Rich. Goodbye, Auntie. I love you.
We love you too. Sweet dreams, kiddo.
How long will I have to live to be an old man? I guess I better live as long as I can. I don't feel so old when I'm seeing you, but my years are going from many to few. So I guess I'll live as long as I can, and maybe someday I'll be an old man. Every day I still eat 3 square, but I must admit to losing some hair. And some of my friends have got up and gone. Some days I am left here all alone. So I guess I'll live as long as I can, and maybe someday I'll be an old man. I bought some new clubs the other day. I wanted to see if I could still play. I hit a few good ones and a lot of dubs, but I can still walk and carry my clubs.
Yeah, I got it, don't worry.
So I guess I'll live as long as I can, and maybe someday I'll be an old man. Well, I'll be 81 my next birthday. If I am getting old, I still can't say. My doctor Ed still gives me pills. They seem to take care of most of my ills. Yeah, so I guess I'll live as long as I can, and maybe someday I'll be an old man. Yes, I guess I'll live as long as I can, and maybe someday I'll be an old man.
Rolling.
She was just looking. Dude, what are we filming? Death at a funeral? It's a really. Wow, those are socks.
You're a socks. Socks. Oh my god.
Oh my god, I'm dying. The machine, it says, go get the doctor. You mean she's gonna die?
Okay.
Hold on. Oh no.
Hold over on the green screen. I'm gonna take the other arm. Actually, hold on. That's funny. One more time.
You mean she's gonna die?
Ryan's here. Just being surprised that I'm a ghost. Oh my gosh.
Some ghost sounds.
My body